Run your feet. Run your feet. Good.
You all can spin back around and hit him. You may not double team him, you may not hit him on the ground, and you can't hit him in the back. Your job is to get that dummy knocked down. Here we go.
Let's go. Go. We're going to be punished hard.
Come on, Kyle. Coach Mark will be grabbing 4 more that you match together and have them ready to roll for the next one. Here we go.
Some QB. Get some QB.
Go next.
Split it, split it, split it, split it, split it. Go, 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 go.
Get off of it.
Go.
Get in there, Maggard.
Can't double team him now. Can't double team him now. Can't double team him. Don't hold him. Don't hold him.
Got it.
Good. Give me 4 more. Here we go.
Wait.
Let's go. Ready. Go.
Get some. Get through. Get through.
Get through the middle.
Come on, Eric Green. Get here, Eric Green.
Get up.
Get up.
Here we go. 4 more. Here we go.
Get him.
Hey, boy, bad dog. That away, son.
Hurry.
Everybody been in. No. Anybody not been in at all? Me. All right. Over here for hamburger. Damn.
Jessamine, Chaz. Score, Chaz. Let's go, Chaz. That way to run the football right there, Chaz.
Let's go.
Defeat the block. Defeat the block.
Back up. Sam.
Go. There you go, Trey. There you go, Trey. There you go.
Got no markers. This is what Parker. That's what Parker. Right here. Big Dylan. Big Dylan.
Water jug, water jug, water. I'll tell you what's next. Hurry, hurry, hurry. Let's go, let's go, let's go. We're walking. Let's go. Up inside. Kyle, don't bounce. Boom. Come off that ride. You just stuck. It's in there. All right. We've got some good seniors coming back this year. Some kids that have played for, some of them have started for 3 years. Very excited about this football team. They've had a great off season. They've been working really hard. This bunch is really raring to go.
You got Kyle Gann, one of your seniors, going to be a senior this year. He's returning to your team, was a junior last year. Looks like he's going to be filling in a lot at quarterback this year.
Well, he started at quarterback as a sophomore out of necessity. Just a great athlete, the type of guy you can put anywhere on the field and do whatever you need done. And when we had an injury at quarterback his sophomore year, he actually started every game that season. We had a little run in the middle of the year where we got pretty good. And then last year, he's a better open field runner and does a lot of things with the football in space. So we moved him back out to slot receiver, played him a lot at running back. But he's a very versatile guy, can do a lot of things for us.
You guys scored 274 points last year, gave up 201 points on the board. But when I look at this rushing yards and your passing yards from last year, you guys had a really good season. We're talking about 1,714 rushing yards, 1,627 passing yards.
We tried to stay very balanced last year, and we had the weapons to do that. Kyle Gann at running back. Justin McIntyre at running back were a big part of our running game, and then we had the all-time leading passer in the school's history at quarterback and the all-time leading receiver in the school's history at wide receiver. So we kind of had a two-headed monster there, and we're pretty tough on offense. Unfortunately, we graduated 2 of those guys, so this year we're going to have to find some new people to take their place.
What do you, when you look at this team out here this year, and you guys obviously working hard in practice, who are some of the guys that need to step up for you this year to kind of fill those voids?
Desmond LeDuc is a sophomore, and normally you're not leaning a whole lot on sophomores, but he's been playing extremely well. Looks like he's going to have the opportunity to start the varsity. Our offensive line is going to have to come together. They're not very deep as far as numbers, but they're a good group. A lot of them have been starting for a couple years now. They're going to really have to pave the way. If we're going to run the football, that group is going to be the ones that get it done. And then, of course, Justin McIntyre and Kyle Gann are just going to have to continue to be the leaders and the dominant players that they've been.
What kind of style can we expect from East Jessamine this year?
We're going back to what we did years ago, which was wing tee, kind of a ground and pound. We had some years where we would only throw 3 or 4 passes a game, and that was because of a dominant running game, and that's a good thing. When you can get in those situations where you're just not having to throw the ball much, then you obviously got the running game going. So we're going to go back and do what East Jessamine's been known for years, which is just ground and pound.
I know you guys are excited. You got a new program in place that started this fall with some of the youth getting involved with East and West Jessamine this year, specifically East for you. But you guys kind of got a little farm system going on now that you didn't have in the past. How's that going to affect the future?
Well, in the years past, they put all the kids in the city-county league, or they played in the Panthers. And when I went to help those guys or tried to give them some assistance, I really wasn't sure which kids were coming to East. And when you don't know who you're actually working with and which kids you're going to get eventually, it makes it a little tougher. It's tough to form the bonds that you want when they're younger that'll carry over from when they're older, because at some point they wind up splitting in East and West. So this year we have a definite East side, a definite West side, all the way back down to the first grade. So when the East coaches call me and say, hey, I need a drill or I need some help, I'm going to be the first one to jump in there and help them. And then those kids, I can watch them practice, watch them play, and let them know this is the program that they're going to be playing in all the way through their high school career. So it's a very exciting time for us at East High, and our football program, I think, is going to continue to take off.
Your first big game on August 20th, you got Elizabethtown.
August 19th.
Oh, I'm sorry, August 19th, you got Elizabethtown. And let's just talk about that game for a second. E-Town coming off of a big loss in the playoffs against Lexington Catholic last year. Probably, looking to get back with a good start this year. What are you guys going to do to stop them?
They were unbelievably talented last year. I know they lost a lot of good players, but Coach Brown won a state championship back when we only had 4 classes. He won a state title at Nelson County. He was very successful at John Hardin. I think he had them in the state final game, and now he's at Elizabethtown, and he's started to pick up where he left off at those other 2 schools. He's just an amazing coach, done a great job, a definite Hall of Famer, one of the probably 10 or 15 best coaches in the state. So you're going to have a group that's going to be very well prepared. They got a lot of athletes. There's a lot of tradition. Elizabethtown's been good for 50 years now in sports. So we're going to have our hands full. And I told our kids there's a very good chance that the best team we play all year will be the first game of the season. So the good news is we're going to know where we stand. The bad news is we got to be really ready early. We can't kind of grow up and expect good things to happen without being really, really ready and on our A game, because we're going to get challenged right off the bat.
Do you feel like last year you seen a little bit more of the A game that you're talking about, Coach, that maybe got surprised a few people that were looking at East Jessamine and saying, hey, we don't expect them to be over 500 this year, but you ended up being 3 games over 500?
We talked to the kids all year last year about getting off to a good start, being the best we could be, just be the best East Jessamine we could be. And we had some talent last year. And I was a little disappointed from about 3 years back. I thought we had some talent, and maybe either injuries or just a lack of momentum. We never could put it together, but last year's team was determined to do it. I see the same determination this year. I don't necessarily see as many skill kids that are talented like we had last year, but I think the grit and the toughness of this team may shine through and will probably take us a long way this year.
But this year, I've learned to embrace the role and become a leader and become more of a quarterback, and I'm really excited for it.
Talk to me about leading this East Jessamine team. You guys got a big game coming up against Elizabethtown, but leading this East Jessamine team and what you got out there on the field this year compared to what you had last year.
We got a lot smaller, but I still feel like we can compete just as good. This is a great group of kids who know nothing but to compete, and they don't want to lose. That's the last thing on their minds ever, and they will do anything to win.
It's your senior season. I know last year you led in a lot of the offensive categories. Rushing, for example, you scored 7 touchdowns last year to lead the team. But talk to me about your offensive attack this year, what you've got in store for the team, and how you like playing under Coach Boland.
I love Coach Boland. He's an awesome coach, probably my favorite coaches here. He's a great guy, and I love the offense we're running, the wing tee. Last year, more of a spread you out and throw it at you kind of offense, but this year we're more of a spread you out and run you kind of team.
Does that fit your game a little bit better, you think?
Yes, sir. I'm a quarterback that can run it, and I can throw it as well, but running is definitely my strong suit.
What do you look for when you look up and down the schedule? And obviously, probably West Jessamine is probably one of the teams you like to play the most. But when you're looking up and down that schedule, what is the game this year for you all?
Well, for team, it's definitely West, but my personal goal is to beat Spencer County. That left a bad taste in my mouth after last year.
Yeah.
Them and Mercer.
Okay. What can we expect from you guys?
A lot of points.
This team is tough, and we've been working hard, so I expect a lot out of us. I expect improvement from last year's 7-3 record, and everybody wants to win a district title, and that's what we've been working for.
How important is it to bring that district title here to East Jessamine?
It's very important because we'll be the first team to do it. Last year we was the first team to win the Visit Nick.com Bowl from Nicholasville, so now we want to step up our goals and make the program move in the right direction.
Talk to me about some of your players on the team, and who's really stepped up in practice so far that you expect to step up in games.
We have a sophomore, Desmond LeDuc. He's really picked it up on both sides of the ball, and he should be starting by – right now he's starting, so he's really been looking good out there. Charlie Gore, he played JV last year, but he's senior. He really stepped up his work ethic, and he's looking good out here too.
All right, let's talk more about you. What are you doing this year?
Me and a friend, we've been going to the track every day after practice to work on speed, because last year I looked at my tape and I looked at the games, and I feel like I could have had a lot more yards if I just had that extra gear to get past the safety.
That extra gear pretty important in your district. You know, here in Central Kentucky overall, you know, it's a game of speed. What are some of the things that you do? Are you putting like the parachute on the back running type of things? What are some of those things?
We've been running with parachutes. We've been running with resistant bands. We've been doing acceleration drills, running up bleachers, everything you could think of, everything you can find on the internet. We've been doing to get faster. That way, once the season comes, we're in great shape. We have great speed. That way we could perform well.
I know it's really hot out here today. It's been hotter on other days, but what are some of the things that Coach Bolin is teaching guys out here that's new that maybe you didn't do last year that you're doing this year?
We've emphasized a lot on tackling this year. Coach Bolin went to a coaching seminar or something. He's learned a lot, and he's brought that on us, and we've been looking real good on the defensive side of the ball, and really just working hard and not showing defeat on our face and body language, and having that good body language so teams don't know if we're tired.
Is it hard practicing for Coach Bolin?
I'd say it's more fun than anything, because he makes it intense. So the games are more fun because he makes practice as intense as possible, turns you from a kid to a man.